giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
So you think drinking alcohol can't hurt you? It'll mess you up big time. Say adios to large chunks of your brain. Major damage is already being done. Other parts of your body are getting wrecked too. Forget about sports, forget about school, forget about doing much of anything. Underage drinking freaks out your body, messes up your life.
Sponsored by the NMDOT.
This is the KNMZ Football Roundtable, Season 31. Once again, 5 local business people and a competition picking winners from the best high school, college, and NFL games every week. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency, Donna Columbus of First National Bank, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group, Timothy Brock of Christ Community Church, and Jake Roberts of Caldwell Banker Sudderth Nelson. Now, let's get to the picks. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ football, or welcome into the KNMZ football roundtable. I guess welcome back. It's been a week off. We're happy to have you here. And another Friday of high school football across the state of New Mexico. And, of course, we got just a wonderful college football weekend and some pretty good NFL matchups. We had a great one last night. That was a spectacular game between the Rams and the Vikings. But let's go around the table as we normally do. Manny Gonzalez, Charles Garland, and Harris Agency. Manny, how are you this morning?
Good morning, everybody. A slow transition from summer to fall in the beautiful Tularosa Valley and greater Alamogordo Holloman Metroplex. Good morning.
Brian Smyset returns and has to follow up the wonder that is Manny Gonzalez from First National Bank. Brian, how are you?
I'm excellent. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, you can't follow up after Manny.
No.
Just let it go.
Donna's been able to do it for 30 plus years, and now Brian Richard had to do it. Lara was, I think, it was a little bit of a shock when she had to follow Manny last week. So
I didn't warn her.
No.
I didn't warn her that which is Manny.
Yeah. Anyway, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group. Brandon, what's up, buddy?
Well, it's this weather is beautiful. It's another bright sunny day in Alamogordo and the greater Metroplex. I didn't do so hot last week, but I tied for last. But it was a tough week.
There's plenty of time to get it turned around in there. And Brandon has his own microphone, which is actually working this week as well. I was kind of proud that I tested that one out.
I'm not really so sure that's an upgrade.
Well,
I'm more comfortable. They were a little too cozy sharing that microphone last week.
The bromance got a little strong there.
The man in first place that just stopped in, Timothy Brock from Christ Community Church. What's up, buddy?
Guys, always an honor to be here. And Brandon, I'm sad we don't get to cuddle today and share a mic. These guys may hate on that, but I think close fellowship is something that should be desired and pursued.
Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely.
And Jake Roberts from Caldwell Banker Sudderth Nelson. Jake, how are you, buddy?
Good morning, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually still holding on to summer. I'm not ready to go into fall, but clutching.
But the weather's agreeing with you today. It's going to be plenty hot for the kids that are playing in southern New Mexico. It's going to be a hot evening for high school football for sure. Tim and myself went 11-5 last week. Tim still has a one-game lead on me. I'm tied with Brian, Lara, Richard. It's kind of an amalgam this year.
First National Bank.
Yes, First National Bank. There you go. Brandon 9-7 last week. He's 3 games back of the First National Bank. I guess trust triumvirate. Jake is tied with Brandon as well, both 9-7, and Manny 10-6 last week. That's a good week, Manny. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
That's why I'm cuddling up with Tim this time. I want to see his notes.
See his notes. What's going on over there?
I've already marked them, Jake. Feel free to gaze at what is a wonderful guess.
All right. Alamogordo on the road tonight as they take on Deming. Tigers are 0-5. Lost to Lovington last week, 45-7. Wildcats 2-2-1 this year. They come off a win over Cobre. They've also beaten Gadsden this year. Have losses to Artesia and I'm escaped the other Goddard's the other loss. Okay, and then they tied with Capital earlier this year. They had a rain-shortened game, or probably a lightning-shortened game would be my guess, up in Santa Fe. So it's a good Deming team. They've got talented quarterback. They've got good size up front, and they also have a couple of speedy running backs and a big tight end split back. They kind of use them in a few different places, but. I think it's more of just focusing on the Alamogordo Tigers and see if they can have a better game this week. They really couldn't get the offense going last week. Defense in the first half has done pretty well. Second half has not been the strong suit, especially the last two games for the Tigers. But I'll contend this is a winnable game for Alamogordo, but they've got to play considerably better than what we've seen over the last 6 quarters or so for Tiger football if they want to come out with a win. Manny?
Did we get a look at Deming in the scrimmage? Weren't they one of the teams that came over here?
That was Hatch.
Yeah.
Hatch was here, but there was another team.
It was Gadsden.
Gadsden, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, Deming lost to Goddard 28-16, lost to Artesia 56-12. I've got a lot of apprehension about this road trip for the Tigers. Very disappointing week last week, of course, but as is my custom and tradition, I'm going to stay with the Alamogordo Tigers to be the road dogs against the Deming Wildcats tonight in Deming, New Mexico.
Brian.
All right, let's take a look at this game. And, of course, I want to stick with Alamogordo. I really think it's about time that they're going to win one. However, this is my theory, or how I figured this out, my pick. I went to the Deming duck races. And anybody in any town that has competitive duck races, they have to have a competitive team. It's a competitive spirit. I'm going Deming. Deming in the duck races.
Fair enough. Who doesn't love the Deming duck races, for sure? It's something special that they have over there in Luna County, to say the least. Brandon?
Is it, though?
You know what? I would go hang out at duck races, personally.
It was really cool. It's the first time I've been. And I got to race a duck.
There you go.
And you actually raced a live duck. I didn't know that.
Did you get pictures of that?
It bit me. The duck bit me.
Did you get pictures of that?
I do. I have a video.
We'll have to see that on
that would go viral.
I tried to coach the duck. I was giving him some really good coaching up front, and he got 3/4 of the way down the track, and he gave up.
To me, we should linger. We should linger on this topic.
So you're telling me he was the lame duck?
Yes.
This makes for much better radio than us just bloviating.
Yeah. Talk about duck races. We're digressing. We're like 5 minutes into the show.
It's usually how it goes. It breaks down pretty quickly. Brandon?
Last week I went out on a limb, went with Alamogordo, really thought that they were going to be able to pull off their first win, and they didn't come close at all. I'm going to go with the hometown team. I think that's the one advantage here, and I'm going to take Deming at home.
Tim?
The hometown team being the home team.
The home team, yes, that's what he meant.
Yeah. Alamo's the hometown team.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify because I'm very.
Thank you.
I get confused very easily. I got to do the Alamogordo Deming C-team game yesterday afternoon. Alamogordo was solid. They won going away. But the varsity level is a little different right now. Alamogordo's future, I think, is improving. But I'm going to go with Deming at home.
Jake?
The duck story is inspiring me. I wasn't really sure how to go with this, but the fact that it bit you and you still went with them kind of shocks me. I'm calling that a lame duck, and I'm going with the Tigers.
All right, there you go. I believe Alamogordo can win this game. The defense has got to have a solid effort for 4 quarters. I think that if the offense, it was. There were a couple things offensively, and we talked to coach yesterday. They missed some reads. They missed some other things they need to do correctly. The quarterback center exchange was not good in the game, so they've actually got a new center in this week. It was kind of mishmash last week. I think they only had 1 full day of practice because the weather was so terrible. So there were a lot of things leading into last week. And by the way, coach not using that as any excuses. I just think those are all things that play into it. The Tigers are capable of winning this, but I'm kind of the mind I kind of need to see it first, and it's one of those that taking that step of winning a football game for this group. I think once they get there, we could see things really start to improve. But I'm going to go Deming. I think it's more respect for them. I think they've played a good season this year. Their losses are to 2 quality teams, and I think they're a pretty good side this year. All right, Tularosa takes on Hagerman. Wildcats 2-3. They played Ruidoso very tough last week. 14-7 was the final score there. Hagerman beat Cloudcroft 38-0. So they're 3-2 on the season now. And should be noted in that Ruidoso game, they had a different quarterback in there. The one they had started most of the season wasn't playing. Not sure the story behind all of that, but certainly I think a part of that game between Tularosa and Ruidoso. But I also give credit to Tularosa's defense. They played very well. I think they only gave up 1 offensive score that entire game. The other touchdown was a pick 6. So Tuli's defense is playing well. They're playing a 2A program here, a good 2A program, but none of their wins really stand out this year in Hagerman. So kind of would, I think, give Tularosa the edge on the road in this one, but Hagerman also seems to have a pretty solid football program most years. Brian?
Yeah, didn't they put a pretty good beatdown on Cloudcroft last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. I was looking at that game, and Bud's man, he says, you got to beat the people you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Tularosa.
Oh.
Brandon?
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go Tularosa on this one as well.
All right. Tim?
Yeah, my good buddy Charlie Devine, big-time football official in the state. He thinks Hagerman's going to win this one at home, but I think I'm going to go with the consensus here. I think Thule is better than their record indicates, and this is a game that they expect to win to turn their season around before district, so I'm going to go with the Wildcats on the road.
Jake?
I think I've been picking Tularosa quite a bit this year. I've always been huge on their defense. I do think they're pretty good, but I think these teams are really close. And right now they're currently ranked. There's only 3 spots separating them. Hagerman's been pretty impressive. I like Tularosa, but I'm taking Hagerman at home.
I'm going to go Wildcats. I think that, look at the running game going. Griffin's had a really nice season running the football. They had to, I think, transition after not having Barraza there for a little bit. And I'm not sure what the injury situation is going forward for them there. But I think this is a game that the Wildcats, in my mind, should win. 3A team versus 2A team. And I think you can argue that they may be the better side going into this. So I think Thule on the road, they'll find a way to get this one tonight. Manny?
Yeah, the Bobcats will have a hometown advantage for about half of the first quarter, and then I think the Tularosa Wildcats defense is going to take control of this game. But this is a challenge for them. The Wildcats are 0-3 away, so they need a road game, and so I think the emotion will be with the Wildcats. I'm going Tularosa on the road.
Carlsbad heading over to Las Cruces, take on Centennial, the Cavemen, 2-1 this year. They come off a 12-7 defeat to Mayfield. Mayfield made a goal line stand at the end of the game. I think Carlsbad had it 4th and goal from the 1 and couldn't punch it in with 3 seconds left, and Mayfield was able to hold on there. So Centennial's 5-0, beat up on Oñate last week. They kicked off the Oregon Mountain rivalry. First time that Centennial and Oñate got to play at Aggie Memorial. So something new for them. There's a lot of people over there that are, that's just for Mayfield Las Cruces. You know what? It's for the kids, and the kids that go to Centennial and Oñate, in my opinion, should get an opportunity to play at Aggie Memorial, in my mind. But don't let the Mayfield and Las Cruces high people tell you. don't want to talk to them if you disagree with that opinion. Anyway, should be an interesting game. Centennial, I'm not sure, has a great win on their schedule. They beat Rio Rancho. Carlsbad, I think, has played a little bit tougher of a schedule. This is, I think, going to be a little bit of a slugfest coming up this weekend. Brandon?
I hope Carlsbad wins. I do. I like the fact that they're having a decent year this year. I just don't know if they can go into Cruces and win at Centennial. I'm going to go Centennial.
All right. Tim?
Yeah, Carlsbad's lost 2 tough ones back-to-back. But Centennial, I think, man, you look at their schedule, they have dominated everybody they've played, putting up big points, giving up very few points. So I think Centennial going away in this one.
Jake?
We're going with the mascot game, and I think the Hawks are going to sort of win on this.
All right. Likes the Hawks over the Cavemen. I think I'm just going to edge on the home team here. I really think this is a very even matchup, and won't be surprised one bit if Carlsbad comes out with a victory. So, but I'm going to give Centennial the edge because it's in their place, and they have had I feel like a very confident season up to this point. So, big district matchup game between these two, though. Manny.
Two good defenses. Carlsbad's only given up 36 points. The Hawks have given up 43 points so far this season. But I think Centennial's got too much offensive firepower. I'm going to go with Centennial at home.
Brian.
At 5-0, I think you're going to see him going 6-0.
All right. Likes the Hawks. All right, Hobbs and Las Cruces. This is Saturday over at the Field of Dreams. Bulldogs 3-2 beat up on Gadsden last week. Hobbs beat up on Lovington 2 weeks ago. They had a bye week last week. So Hobbs 3-1, Las Cruces 3-2, and so both these games, the one we just talked about and this one, crucial district matchups. This is all the Cruces teams plus Gadsden, and then Hobbs and Carlsbad are all in that same district in Class 6A. So this is another crucial game for both sides. Eagles can score in tons. Bulldogs can do the same. Another tough one I feel like to pick. Tim, what do you like?
Well, this is a tough one. I think Hobbs has proven that they have a turnaround season going on here. Las Cruces started off really slow, some tough losses, but I think they're kind of getting geared up for the big district, and this is a district game. So I hate going against Las Cruces because they always get better as the season goes on. I'm going to go with the Bulldogs at home.
Jake.
You know, in this one, I feel like Hobbs has the better defense, but I think both teams have a really good offense, so it's kind of a little difficult, but I'm going to go ahead and take the home team. I have the Bulldogs win in this one.
Man, I really want to go with one of the Eastern New Mexico teams here, just because it's I think Hobbs and Carlsbad are both very good, and this district is going to come down to probably these four teams. Mayfield's just kind of sneakily chugging along this season. I don't know what happens when they've beaten Carlsbad. I don't know what happens when they play Hobbs and Las Cruces. I think I'm just going to edge on home team again. I know that's such kind of a lame cop-out on some of these, but I think that can be the difference in this game. So I'm going to go with Las Cruces High. Manny?
And so I thought I saw on the El Paso News, a recap of Friday Night Football, that they had video of a high school game going on at Aggie Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, that was the Centennial Oñate game last weekend.
Okay.
Last Friday.
And that was what they were complaining about, because that should only be reserved for
Mayfield and Las Cruces.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just make sure I wasn't dreaming that.
And by the way, it's not the media or anybody. It's some of the fans that are alumni of Las Cruces High, alumni of Mayfield. That
I just want to make sure I was awake during that part of the replay. Or if I was watching fake news, I always want to know that too. Hey, listen, this is a good football game to have on our sheet. Hobbs has been impressive. Las Cruces is Field of Dreams. I think that's a difference in this one. I'm going to go Bulldogs.
Brian.
Yeah, I'm with Manny on this one. I think the home field advantage, Field of Dreams, is going to be big. Hobbs making the traveling over the distance. I think it's going to be a little bit too much for him. Going Las Cruces.
Brandon.
Man, I thought somebody would jump out there and take Hobbs.
Could be you.
I mean,
there's still time.
Hobbs is having a pretty solid year. What is their record again? They're
3-1.
3-1. Who was their loss to? It was one
Clovis.
of the Albuquerque. Was it Clovis?
Clovis, yep. And they've beaten Artesia this year, and Lovington. I can't remember what the other win was. I want to say it was Roswell.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like Brian said, it is a long road trip, and it's a long, boring road trip.
I think they would go down through El Paso.
It would probably be a nice road trip
Even
if they
more.
were in a nice new car from Desert Sun.
If they were coming over through the mountains, at least that would be a nice little interruption there. But if they're going through El Paso, that's even worse. But anyways, I just think it's hard to go against the Bulldogs in their place, and you can never count them out. Like they're just that good of a team, and they have been for many years. I'm gonna go take Las Cruces at home.
Yeah, I think either one or both of those games we're all gonna get stung on. I feel like Carlsbad or Hobbs is gonna get out of Las Cruces with a win, one of the two. Roswell goes to Belen. Big Class 5A matchup here. Roswell coming off a 54-0 win over Miyamura from Gallup. Belen lost to Piedra Vista last week, 30-7. PV's not having a particularly great season. Belen's other loss is at Artesia, so that certainly isn't a bad loss. And that was when Artesia, I think, was 0-2, and so Artesia certainly had the want to make sure they won that game. So I think an interesting 5A matchup. Another one that certainly could go either way. Last time Roswell was in Valencia County, though, they went up there and beat up on Los Lunas pretty well. So maybe they can do the same this week. We'll see. Jake.
You know, I think it's real clear. I think Roswell is the better team. They've just scored a lot more points. They've been holding the opponents to fewer points, and I mean that's just how you win games. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for them. I think Roswell's going to take this one.
I like the Coyotes. I think that Belen's a good team, and certainly the home field advantage could play in here. Belen's a very difficult team to beat at their place, so I certainly could see the Eagles coming out here with the victory. But I kind of edge on Roswell. I think that they've shown me enough this season in terms of the quality team that they are. Manny?
Jake's exactly right. Roswell has put up 172 points, given up 76 points. The Eagles have put up 128 and given up 91. If you just look at that math, I was impressed with the Roswell win over Los Lunas. I'm going Coyotes.
Brian.
Well, this is going to be my Eastern New Mexico pick of the day. Roswell.
All right. There's First National Bank sort of near Roswell. I mean, you got to go down to Artesia. Yeah,
it's close.
It's close.
I've been through Roswell. Does that count?
Yes, it does. I mean, it's no worse than the duck races thing.
No,
so I mean,
not a lot.
I feel like the logic is right there in
there. It's solid. It's solid. Pick of the week. Go with the logic.
Brandon.
My logic is we have a couple stores over there in Roswell, and I'm rooting for them, so I'm going to take Roswell.
Tim.
Yeah, I think back to the game when I picked Los Lunas to beat Roswell back on the 14th of September, and I was wrong. I think most of us were wrong on that. So yeah, Roswell's good this year, and that's my logic. I'm going Roswell.
All right.
Roswell's good this year.
District openers in the
solid.
We didn't put a couple of the games on the sheet. One of them, Tim's working tonight up in Cloudcroft, so we left that game off there. They're playing Estancia tonight. That's going to be a real tough game for Cloudcroft this evening against Estancia. They were a very good 3A team for many years, and now they're a 2A program. So. And then Mescalero Apache gets Lordsburg, so Coach Hooper's group coming back over this direction. They'll take on the Chiefs tonight. Chiefs are 2-3 this year. Don't have a win over a varsity program yet. They've beaten the Thule JV and the Rodoso JV, so kind of need to get over that hump a little bit and see if they can make that happen tonight. Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back. Friendly reminder, you can listen to Tiger football tonight. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll be live from Deming this evening. You can also listen to us online, youtube.com/ESPN Alamogordo. You can listen to this program online as well. If you miss it, you can go on and listen to it later. Keeps me in check, so these guys can go back and listen to it, and when I mess up the picks, they can say, hey, here, this is what we actually picked. Back after this here on the Roundup.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student-athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student-athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
Are you looking to rent or need someone to manage your property? Hi, I'm Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker, Sudderth Nelson. Did you know that we are the largest property management company in Alamogordo? Whether you were looking for a short-term housing solution or to turn an existing property into a great long-term investment, give us a call at 575-437-1137. Visit our website today at alamogordocoldwellbanker.com or come by and see us at 800 Scenic Drive.
If you and your family are looking for a new home, you don't have to look far for a home mortgage. As a community bank, we not only have great rates, we offer you friendly financial service right here in the neighborhood. There are a lot of options in real estate lending. We're here to see that you get a loan you can live with. Talk to us about your home mortgage. We're an equal housing lender. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim Brock, and I'd like to invite you to Christ Community Church, a place to belong, a place to come together, and a place to leave inspired. We have dynamic worship, engaging and relevant Bible teaching, and excellent ministries for everyone in the family. Our worship services are Sundays at 9 and 11:15. Christ Community Church, where it's about relationship, not religion, and where Jesus Christ is Lord. For more information, find us online at christcommunityalamo.org.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back into the KNMZ Football Roundtable. No Aggies this week. Hey, they beat UTEP, though. Woo! one win this season. They may get a couple more. They've got like Alcorn State and a couple in there, but
looks like a
I picked that one. Lara went against me.
I know. She was the only one who picked UTEP.
I know.
You know what? But she wasn't.
To me.
She wasn't that far off from getting it though.
No, she has conviction, so I didn't give her too much hard time.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the college picks. We got a great slate of college games this week, and I don't think I even have all of them on here. I think there's a couple others that are going to be good. But in Happy Valley, it's going to be a whiteout. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere. Number 4, Ohio State at number 9, Penn State. 3.5-point favorite going to the Buckeyes in this game. It's going to be, hopefully, a great matchup. Will it be? Well, we'll obviously find out. Brandon, what do you like, buddy?
So I'm going to go out and I'm going to make this pick for my friend Dave Miller and Sean Hinkle, and I'm going to take Ohio State.
All right, they'll appreciate that. Former members of the Roundtable themselves. Tim?
Yeah, good friends of mine, too. That was my old baseball coach and my old buddy. But, yeah, Penn State, they're at home. They're always tough. This is one of the best games to watch visually with the whiteout. Happy Valley, man. It's a place I'd love to put on my bucket list. But I think Ohio State, I think they're primed to just get rolling now that their coach is back. So I'm going to go with the Buckeyes, unfortunately. But I'm pulling for Penn State. Sorry, Sean, if he's listening.
No. He wants you to go with Ohio State.
Yeah, he wants you to
go.
I'm so dumb. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I just...
Other people, sorry to Tim Brock is what I should have said.
Okay, there you go.
So I want Penn State to win. That's what I was apologizing for. You threw me. I want Penn State to win.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Sean, that I want him to win, but I am picking Ohio State. See, clarity, very important.
I understand now. I'm hoping the rest of the listeners were confused with me, and that made sense, Jake.
I'm not really sure I understand. I'm still a little confused.
Let's review.
That said, I'm going to go on a limb, and I don't feel like it's that much of a limb. I'm taking Penn State. It's going to be a real close matchup, but they're averaging about 55.5 points, and the Buckeyes are averaging 54.5 points. We're talking that's not that much, and then you've got the Lions at home. Right now with their running back, Sanders has got about 500 yards, 5 TDs. I mean, I think Penn State's probably not getting as much love as they deserve on this game.
I think it's a close matchup, and it definitely could swing either way. I'm hoping for a great game. That's all I'm looking for. I think Ohio State has more firepower in this game. I think getting Urban Meyer back is going to make a difference. The one question I'll have, not having Bosa on the defensive line, I think is going to be a difference for them going forward. But man, with Ohio State, it's programs like Alabama and Clemson. You lose your best defensive lineman, and there's probably somebody waiting behind that is just as good as that guy. So I'm going to go Buckeyes. Manny?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I've always liked Urban Meyer, and he's back. The over and under on this bad boy is 70.
Whoa.
I could see that.
Incredible.
Let's hope. Let's hope it's a 35 game, something like that. That'd be great.
And so, I've always admired Penn State too, and especially in these recent years, they showed a lot of grit coming out of all that controversy, and so I'm gonna go with Penn State. It's just a sentimental thing for me. I'm going number 9, Penn State Nittany Lions.
What's really nice about the controversy too is they didn't shy away from it. They haven't made excuses for it. They just put their nose to the grindstone and just worked through it. It's been amazing to see them come back.
I would agree. I think the people who work for Penn State have done that. I don't have as much love for the Penn State fans and the way they've handled themselves coming out of that. So, anyway.
All right, you want to hear? Okay, here's my logic behind this whole thing.
Sweet.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
All right, 1989, Michigan versus Notre Dame. My son was born at halftime.
Yeah.
Very, very good that he came at halftime.
Yes.
Therefore, I became following Michigan all along. Therefore, I can never vote for Ohio State. Happy Valley's going to be happy because they're going to win.
All right, I like it.
Brian brought his A game today.
I'm telling you.
A couple weeks off. Yeah. Sending some backups.
Got charged up. He's ready to go. So, Manny, you went
on IR.
You went Ohio State, right?
I went Penn State.
Oh, you went Penn State?
Penn
Okay.
State.
I'm sorry.
A happy day in Happy Valley.
There you go. Do want to mention, since we got the 2 Oklahoma fans here, they have Baylor this week. I didn't put it on the sheet because it's like a 25-point favorite to Oklahoma. Should have put Oklahoma Army on the sheet last week. How nervous were you guys last week?
Sweating.
But I will. One of my favorite things I saw as Army was leaving the field, the Oklahoma fans gave them a standing ovation as they were leaving the field. I thought that said a lot about the Oklahoma fan base, and I think every program, every fan base respects the Naval Academy, Army, and Air Force and those programs and what they do, like Manny says every time. So.
Well, and you know what? I was real proud of our program at halftime last week. The entire team stayed on the field in perfect attention while those young people took the oath to serve in the Air Force.
And he's talking about the Alamogordo Tiger football team. And there was a member of the Alamogordo Tigers that was taking his oath to join the Air Force.
And so I thought that was a really cool display. So
I think that's such a cool thing that they've done the last 3 or 4 years. I think they've done that at the Military Appreciation Night and have kids take their oath to join the United States Air Force. I think that's such a neat thing that they do there and brings it home Air Force
If you don't know, I was still in high school when I joined the Air Force. It's called delayed enlistment. And so I finished high school and I went on to service. But it gave me an edge by several months because there's some automatic things that happen in terms of time and grade and stuff and promotions and pay raises. And so it gave me a little bit of an edge going in. So that's that. They're not quitting high school. They're just
no.
And they're not officially enlisted, but it's called delayed enlistment. It's a great program.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to Florida at Mississippi State. I'll tell you what, the Gators have bounced back. They're 3-1, have got an opportunity to go on the road, go to Starksville, and beat Mississippi State, who's also 3-1. Bulldogs are getting 7 points in this game, but certainly seems like certainly one that the Gators could have if they continue to show some improvement. Everybody was ready to fire Dan Mullen. Maybe there still are some people that are ready to fire Dan Mullen, but I think you certainly got to have some faith there. Yeah, I think. And of course, this is a kind of return for him. This is where he has been coaching for the last. I think he was at Mississippi State for almost a decade. So, Tim.
That's exactly right. So I like him back to last Monday night when Matt Patricia played his old team. I thought Detroit looked so horrible in the first 2 weeks, and they beat up on the Patriots. So I'm hoping we have a similar situation here with Dan Mullen coaching against a team that he knows backwards and forward. He's recruited the players from Mississippi State. It could go one way or the other. They could know Dan's tricks too, right? So it could go one way or the other, but I think Florida under Dan Mullen has gotten progressively better each of the last 3 weeks. Both of these teams lost to Kentucky. So man, I definitely would take the points, but I'll go with Florida.
And I think that Kentucky loss is looking a lot less worse for Florida.
Right.
Clearly, the Wildcats are pretty good this year.
Well, and that was exactly what I was going to say. Is they both lost to Kentucky, and Kentucky has rose up to the ranks to number 17. So I mean, that's a legit team, and you really can't hold that loss against them. I'm still a little bitter from Florida letting me down a couple weeks ago. And you know, I was definitely looking at the games a little bit. They did beat Tennessee, but they gave up 21 points to Tennessee, and I'm just not so sure Tennessee's really that good.
No, they're not.
So because of that, I'm taking Mississippi State.
Yeah, if anything, I'm just gonna try to pick one up on Tim here. I think it's a close game, and I certainly think Florida can go in and get the win. But in their place in Starkville, the cowbell will be loud, exceptionally loud there in Starkville. So I think that'll be the difference. We've had so much logic in this show so far. I'm going with cowbell in this game and Mississippi State Bulldogs. Manny.
This is the one game on the sheets. This is an absolutely wild guess. Just a wild guess. I'm going Mississippi State.
Brian.
I tell you what, if I was in Vegas in the sportsbook right now, I would take Florida on against the spread, but I wouldn't take them against the money line. So I'm taking Mississippi State.
Okay. Brandon.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to go Florida on this one. I don't know why I'm going with Florida on this one. I have no logic behind why I'm going with Florida.
Because the guy in first place.
Florida. I just feel Florida should be able to win this game, and I know nothing about Mississippi State.
I think from a talent standpoint, you could certainly say only a toss-up, and I think if Manny wasn't a Notre Dame fan, he would have just as much hard of a time picking this game as the last one. Notre Dame getting 5.5. They get number 7 Stanford, who had that incredible comeback at Oregon last week. I think they were down 24-0 and came back and won the game in overtime. So they obviously have some confidence coming off of that. Notre Dame finally broke out of their shell, it felt like, a little bit last week against Wake Forest. I mean, they thumped the Demon Dinkins pretty hard. So maybe the real Notre Dame is ready to stand up after that win last week, but this is going to be a tough one, Manny.
I think the Irish are favored by 5, over and under's 52. I love Bryce Love. I like that guy. I really do. If you read his story and looked at what he's doing with academics, he's a special, special cat. But there was so much green last week in Oregon. Now they got to go to Notre Dame Stadium and got to look at all that green again. And so, again, having said what I said about Stanford and Bryce Love, that's all true, but I'm going to stick with the Fighting Irish.
Is Notre Dame going to wear some ugly jerseys this week, or are they going to wear the regular ones?
I just hope they don't wear any of those over-shiny helmets, that's all.
I think I know they're going to wear the over-shiny helmets.
Which is another thing I like about Penn State. They're so basic in their appearance, so old school. Fighting Irish.
Yep, like Alabama, they don't really change anything.
Nope. Too. This is definitely a tough one. I went back and forth on this one, looking at the spread. I originally had Stanford, marked them out, took Notre Dame, marked that one out, went back to Stanford, and finally, right on my way over here, I said, forget it, we're just going Notre Dame.
Okay.
No logic, no nothing.
Home team. There's the logic for you, Brandon.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've been rolling with Stanford all season, and they've been doing me good, so I'm going to stay with them.
All right. Tim?
Yeah, I watched that game last week against Oregon with Stanford. I thought I was going to lose a game in that, but we ended up getting it, so I was excited. But this one's going to be different. I think Notre Dame has turned the corner where they put in that new kid, Ian Book. But it may be like one of those things where the team wasn't prepared for the quarterback. Stanford will be prepared for this new young quarterback. They've got a little bit more stability in the backfield with Costello and Love, so I'm going to go Stanford.
Jake?
Just what Brian said, I flipped back and forth on this one quite a few times, and I'm still not super comfortable with this pick, to be honest with you. But Notre Dame's at home, but Stanford, I think their quarterback's just a little bit better. He's thrown to J.J. Arcega. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right or not. He's got 17 catches with 408 yards. I think that's going to be the difference here, and I'm taking Stanford.
I'm going to make it an even split. I'm going to go Irish. I like the way their offense kind of broke out of its shell last week. Stanford's offense has been, last week obviously they came back against Oregon, but I think for Stanford this is the best team they've played this year. It's on the road. I'm going to edge towards the Irish. I would almost always go against the Irish in a game like this. I don't know what's wrong with me. Going against my instincts. All right. Number 12 West Virginia goes to number 25 Texas Tech. Andy, what's the over-under on this one?
72.
Wow, I figured it would be like 80 or something.
It was 73.
West Virginia's getting 3.5, but this is a long road trip, as is, I think, every road trip for West Virginia in the Big 12. I mean, it's all a long road trip for them. It's still so weird they're in that conference. Texas Tech 3-1, and they... was it Oklahoma State that they beat last week?
41-17.
41-17 on the road.
So a nice win for the Red Raiders there, and West Virginia. We'll see if they can go on the road, and that's always a fun environment, man. There were those games. I'm trying to remember, like the early 2000s, late 2000s. Was it Texas Tech and OU that were in Texas Tech, Texas? Those were just spectacular games. I remember those environments. I mean, it was a lot of fun there. So this could have the makings of that. Brian, who do you like?
Wreck-'em Raiders.
Oh, okay.
Yep, got to bring up the Bosses thing when he was here. Got to stay on the Bosses program.
There you
Wreck-'em
go.
Raiders. Yeah, they just dismantled Oklahoma State, which I totally did not expect that. And then with that long road trip, I just think Texas Tech is just going to give it to them and go Raiders.
Okay. Brandon.
I think I was the only one who picked against Texas Tech last week. And
did we have them on the
one?
I don't know.
I don't think we had them on
I
the
wouldn't
sheet
have picked
last week,
Texas
yeah.
Tech.
It was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
And then I saw your boss
because I went
sitting
Wreck-'em
behind
Tech.
me.
Yep.
That night, the next day at the golf course, and he was like, "It was because of you."
That's good.
West Virginia's. I mean, wow. Well, they're having a pretty solid year.
Got a Heisman candidate.
Yeah. So for that reason, I'm not a big Texas Tech fan. I just don't have the confidence in them. I'm going to go West Virginia.
former Florida Gator, Will Grier, right, Tim?
We have a lot of former great quarterbacks out there somehow. Yeah, I don't know how that always seems to be the case. I feel a little bit like Texas A&M in that regard. But, yeah, this is an interesting one. At first I was like, man, Texas Tech, West Virginia, everybody's going to take West Virginia. And then I found out that Texas Tech's actually pretty good. I don't know how they're not on my radar. I like them. But, yeah, I think Will Grier is the real deal, and I think West Virginia's defense is way better than Texas Tech's defense. So I'm going to go with West Virginia on the road.
Jake.
So I agree with Tim. I do think the defense is better on the West Virginia side, but I think the offense is going to be a little bit better for Texas Tech. If Texas Tech can play some defense, I think they have a shot in this game, so I'm taking Tech.
They actually played some defense last week. The fact that Texas Tech held somebody to 17 points is pretty incredible. I'm going to go with the Heisman candidate. I'm going to go Will Grier. This is an opportunity for him to, I don't think West Virginia's really played anybody that's made them stand out this year. This is an opportunity to go on the road, beat a ranked team. I think they'll make it happen. I'm going to go Mountaineers. Manny?
I really like Lubbock. It's one of my favorite West Texas towns, and I love the Red Raiders' reckless abandon attitude. But I'm surprised and impressed with what West Virginia's done so far. And I always like it when a team that's not been in the mix starts to move up. I always like that. I'm going West Virginia.
All right.
West Virginia's tough. I mean, they really could come out of there being the champion of the Big 12.
Yeah. Jake, did you take Texas Tech or West Virginia?
I took Tech.
Tech, okay. All righty. Oregon goes to Cal. Oregon coming off that loss last week. Really didn't drop in the rankings a whole lot. I think they actually went up a little bit after that loss to Stanford. Cal quietly just kind of chugging along this season. Nobody's really talked about them, but they're 3-0, and they're at home in this game. Oregon is getting 1.5 points on the road, but I think an interesting Pac-12 matchup, and Oregon a chance to get back on track after that loss last week, but Cal has an opportunity to make something happen here, so we'll see if they can possibly do that. So, Jake, who do you like in this?
I like Oregon. They took a tough loss to Stanford last week. I kind of thought they dominated that game, really, and then they just kind of lost focus at the end. So I think they're going to pay for that. I don't think they're going to make that mistake again, and I'm going to take Oregon.
I just haven't seen enough from Cal to have a whole lot of faith in them here at this point, so I'm going to go with the Ducks. I think they should have won that game last week and just let it get away from them, and it was against a good football team. I think they'll rebound and make it happen this week. I like the Ducks. Manny?
I never stay up late. I never do. But I stayed up to watch that Oregon-Stanford game, and I'm glad I did. And I'll tell you this, these are some fast ducks. Now, you talk about fast ducks.
Some real duck raising.
And both of those teams, Stanford and Oregon, they put it all on the line. Both teams sold out, and I really like that kind of competition. I'm going to go Oregon Ducks on the road.
Brian?
I'm going to go Oregon as well. I think they're going to rebound after last week. They pretty much got beat that second half, gave up, folded, and I think their coach probably gave them a pretty rough week. So, go with Oregon.
Okay, Brandon.
I like Oregon as well.
Tim.
I was going to go Cal until I saw that they barely beat UNC, and I watched UNC get manhandled last night by Miami, who's not any good either. So I'm going with Oregon, and unfortunately eliminating any drama on that pick.
Now, I do feel bad. We've gone another week, and we still haven't put Alabama on the pick sheet. They are 48.5-point favorites against Louisiana this week. There's a reason why.
Well, I would have picked Louisiana, guys. So
Alabama's always favored.
But Alabama, what's their biggest problem? What's their biggest challenge? Whether or not the fans are going to stay in the stands for the whole game.
Yeah, that and Nick Saban gets really upset over that when they don't stay the whole game. It's like, you're up 50 at halftime. Why are we going to stay here? But Texas A&M, at least I felt, it really wasn't. The spread was right last week. That's what was kind of incredible about it. So they're having an amazing season. Hopefully they get some better games that they have to face later this year. It would be wonderful if Louisiana somehow pulled off the upset, though. I would laugh and laugh and laugh. All right, we'll take a break. Come back. More of the Roundup for you after this.
Hi, my name is Jake Roberts, and I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Southern Nelson. Are you looking for your dream home, or are you looking to sell your property and need the guidance to get noticed? I can help you with professional real estate services today. Call me at 575-446-8574 or email me at jake@nmvistas.com. To view a list of our inventory, visit our website at alamogordo-coldwellbanker.com or visit us at 800 Scenic Drive in Alamogordo.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178. Today's forecast is calling for sunny skies in Alamogordo, high of 91, low of 60 for Cloudcroft, high of 77, overnight low of 44. For tomorrow, continued sunny skies, Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 88, low of 60 for Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 75 and an overnight low of 42 degrees.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
Hi, I'm Pastor Tim Brock, and I'd like to invite you to Christ Community Church, a place to belong, a place to come together, and a place to leave inspired. We have dynamic worship, engaging and relevant Bible teaching, and excellent ministries for everyone in the family. Our worship services are Sundays at 9 and 11:15. Christ Community Church, where it's about relationship, not religion, and where Jesus Christ is Lord. For more information, find us online at christcommunityalamo.org.
When someone thinks they have a better idea, like a new way to make it or a new place to take it, they start their own business. Every small business has not-so-small ambitions. We can help you with about every financial service you'll need, like e-statements to save your filing space, mobile banking from your smartphone, lines of credit for expansion, and online account access. To us, there's nothing small about small business. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Wrapping it up with NFL picks as usual. And I should mention Penn State, Ohio State on the radio on Saturday night, so you can listen to it here on ESPN Alamogordo. Hey, how about those Buffalo Bills? I have no idea.
As he puts on his smoothest radio voice.
If we could have gone back last week and I knew the same circumstances, I never would have picked them ever. There was nothing going into that game that made me think that they were capable of beating the Vikings that way. So I got nothing. And I'm going to pick against them in this week because I think Green Bay at home. I mean, the Packers. Aaron Rodgers. I'm not usually a player guy in terms of sports. Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite athletes. I love the heck out of him, and I root for him pretty much whenever it's not against the Bills. So this will be frustrating to watch when he carves up the Bills. But then again, maybe Buffalo show up. I was proud of Josh Allen. Thought he had a good week last week. Giving me some hope that maybe things will work out well there. I can hope at least. Manny?
Can Buffalo match their defensive effort from last week? 3 turnovers. Great effort. Will Clay Matthews... dig this. That was his 4th this season. And that's the same number he's had in the first 9 years of his career. Mm-hmm. Something changed. Anyway, I like Green Bay.
You know what's funny about that rule? That rule's actually been on the books since '95, but they made it a point of emphasis this year.
And I like Aaron Rodgers, too. I just wish he'd cut those State Farm commercials out. Just cut it out.
I bet he would if you paid him enough to.
I was going to say, Manny, if you want to
phone call there, buddy.
$1,000 that State Farm is, I'm pretty sure.
Charles Garland and Harris needs another spokesman.
Just put me down for Green Bay.
Okay. Brian?
Buffalo peaked. That's it. They're done. They peaked. It's over. I'm sorry, but I think they peaked.
I kid you
this
not.
This is their signature win. That was it.
I was worried about 0-16, so I'm happy that they got the win.
That was it. With that being said, you got to go with the Packers.
Brandon.
In Green Bay? Yeah. Packers.
Tim?
Yeah, it was good that you were able to at least enjoy the win by talking about it for the last 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it, though, when you pick against your team and they win?
That's him hedging his bets. He talks about that every week.
Yeah, it really doesn't bother me that much.
I hate it when that happens.
We all know we're going with Green Bay, so yeah, it's fine.
Jake?
Yeah, Green Bay. But I am very much a player guy. And so, yeah, Aaron Rodgers has just been kind of, one of the elite quarterbacks. I do think he gets a little too much love. I'm not going to lie. I think he's kind of playing on a weak team, and some of that coaching could be better. But Aaron Rodgers over Buffalo, I feel like that's pretty easy.
And we had the boo-boo on his leg. The commentators were over the top. Oh, he's only got one leg. He's doing this on one leg.
They do over-dramatize it a little bit, but that's not an insignificant injury. So, I mean, he hasn't breached the 300-yard mark yet this season, which is shocking for him. So I think there is more to it than...
Yeah, I can agree with that. Ben Roethlisberger's made a career out of that kind of thing, Manny. I mean, he's always hurting. He comes out there and he's such a warrior. It's like, all right, whatever. All right. Honestly, I feel like the most fun team in the NFL this year has been the Kansas City Chiefs. They go to Denver this week. They're 4.5-point favorites. Denver had a tough time at Baltimore last week. Denver really hasn't played well in any game this year, but they've won 2 of 3, so that's all that really matters. They've managed to go out there and get some of those wins. But Patrick Mahomes broke Peyton Manning's record for the most touchdown passes in the first 3 games in NFL history. This is his second year in the league, and clearly Andy Reid made the right choice by trading Alex Smith and giving the reins to Mahomes, because he's been stellar so far. We'll see if he can keep it up. Brian, who do you like?
I tell you what, with Kansas City getting those kind of points on the road, that really surprises me, because they always play each other tough, in each other's in ballparks. However, being a Kansas City fan, I'm probably going to lean that direction. But even more importantly, my best buddy up in Albuquerque, he's a Denver fan, and we have beers on the line. So he's taking Denver. I got to take that. So I got to have my conviction on the radio if I have it with him. So I'm going Kansas City.
All right, Brandon.
Kansas City's got it going on. I mean, Mahomes is putting up some very, very impressive numbers. It's like, where did this kid come from, right? Like, wow. So I think Kansas City can win this game, no problems.
All right. Tim?
Yeah, I think what you see in the NFL is it's not like Alabama in college football where they just roll people. Teams start to figure out what other teams want to do, and they take it away. So I think you're going to see Denver really pull out all the stops in this one, and I'm going to pick Denver at home.
Jake?
So I like Kansas City in this one, but actually I'm going to give a little bit of credence to what Tim said. Andy Reid's had hot starts before, and then it just kind of slips, and then they end up not even making the playoffs. So you kind of have to question if this is just a little bit of a new quarterback high. I like Patrick Mahomes. I want to see the Chiefs do well. I would not count Denver out of this game. Steady is not a bad place to be, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Chiefs, but it'll be a game that I'll be watching.
I'm going to count on a couple Case Keenum interceptions here to go along with Mahomes having a good game, so I'm going to go with Chiefs. Andy?
This is Monday night, so I guess I'll have to stay up late again.
Yeah.
But I'm going to. Talking to Bobby Lara, who's the president of Raider Nation New Mexico Division, yesterday, we were talking about, and he's I think his early season prediction could be correct. He says it's the Chiefs and the Rams. And I agree with him. That's a very strong possibility. I like Kansas City on the road.
Detroit, after a very impressive win at home against New England on Monday night. Cowboys with a less than impressive performance at Seattle last week. Detroit's getting 3 on the road going into this game. That is kind of staggering to me. Both teams are 1-2, but for some reason I think a lot of people feel like the problems in Dallas are a lot worse than the problems for Detroit. Tim, would you agree?
Yes. Well, because the expectations are higher, and they've got a broader, probably more annoying fan base. Charles.
Certainly broader would be the right word. Annoying, every fan base has the annoying.
Well, I mean, Detroit fans aren't annoying because they have nothing to really brag about other than Barry Sanders and... Well, and that's true. I mean, I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be very honest. So they're not annoying because what do they boast about?
Let's remind everybody that Tim is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and we're hearing that side of it right now.
Right. So, yeah, Dallas, I mean, I'm an eternal optimist. I can see us just feeding Zeke Elliott the ball maybe 35 times, either through the air, through the ground, on the ground. So I'm going to go Dallas, but I would not put any money on it.
Jake?
The Detroit win's actually kind of interesting. Belichick actually doesn't have that great of success facing former coaches. I remember them bringing that up, and I just kind of confirmed that, and it's pretty close. So I'm just going to say that Detroit got lucky on this game. On that last game, and I don't know if they're going to look better or not. So I'm rolling with Dallas.
I think Detroit's offense is what gives me. I mean, I think that Matt Stafford, certainly they've got a one up there compared to Dak Prescott. The Cowboys just run the football, man. I mean, he had. I think he only carried the ball 15 times last week, and that may have been that they fell behind. That was the reason why. But they just need to run the football. Dak can't throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, and them expect to win.
Who's he throwing to?
That's a good point as well. There's definitely a lot to be said. Not having Jason Witt, not having Dez certainly makes things different there in Dallas. I like Detroit on the road. I again, another team that, being a Bills fan, I sort of have a soft spot for the Lions because we both have plenty of heartbreak to share.
Because you're humble.
Right there around Lake Erie, that area between Detroit, Cleveland, and Buffalo, there's plenty of sadness going on there, so I'll go Detroit. Manny?
Everyone's correct on this. Dallas Cowboy passing game is underperformed. They're 30th in overall offense. But, like you say, Charles, they lead the league in rushing 6 yards per rush. So if they can get the running game going, they should be okay in this one. I'm going Cowboys.
I don't think they have a problem getting it going. They just need to trust it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Play calling.
We're going to go back to one of my earlier sentiments about Buffalo, and we're going to go with the same one with Detroit. They peaked.
Okay.
So we're going for Dallas.
All right. Brandon?
I actually like Detroit. I'm going to go Detroit.
All right. Let's see. Okay, now I've got my picks right. Houston at Indianapolis. Indy's getting one at home. Both these sides have been a little disappointing this year. Both sides really in need of a win. Maybe Houston more than Indy, but to try and stay in that AFC South race, both of them need a win. Brandon. Colts. All right, going Indy. Tim.
As I look over the stat sheet, I know we're running out of time, but I could see myself going to like 4th place by the time this week is over, or I have a really big lead. But I'm going to go with Houston. I just think in the NFL, again, just like I said about why I'm picking against Kansas City, you just don't see teams that are even remotely decent. Look at Buffalo and Detroit last week. They don't keep losing. They find a way. I'm going to go with Houston.
All right, Jake.
I'm not sure who I want to pick in this game. I'm throwing this one coin toss. We're going to take Indianapolis at home.
I'm going to go Houston. I think they need this win badly. Don't want to drop to 0-4. I think they've got just as much talent to play with Indy there, so I'm going to go Texans on the road. Manny?
I wouldn't be surprised if Houston won this one, but I like the Colts in the oil can.
Brian?
Yeah, one of the same. This is a tough game for me as well, and I'm going to go Indianapolis really bad, but I think Houston. I think they don't want to go 0-4. I think they're going to step up, so I'm going Houston on the road.
Miami's 3-0. They've got a 2-game lead in the AFC East. They go to New England. They could make it a 3-game lead if they get the win. 6.5 going to New England. Jake.
This one's tough. New England's not looking very good, and Miami is. I'm not picking against Belichick and Brady. I think they're going to figure it out, though. I'm going to ride New England, but man, it would not shock me if Miami pulls a win out of this.
Yeah, I like Patriots. I think in their place, they'll find a way. Miami has gone up there and won games in the past, but I think the importance of this game won't be missed by anybody. I'm going to go New England. Manny?
It's been way in the past. Since 2009, the Patriots have beat Miami 9-0.
There you go.
I'm going Patriots.
Brian?
Make it 10-0. Going Patriots.
Brandon?
I've kind of been riding a little high on Miami, and I'm gonna go with Miami. I hope Miami. I think the Patriots are done. In my opinion, I just think they're done.
Done. Patriots are done.
I don't know about
Tom Brady is over.
Put a fork in them right now.
The New England legacy is coming to an end. Miami.
I'm going to replay this particular segment.
Yes. Please do.
The Patriots
Please do.
When we get to the end of the season, the Patriots have won the division. I guarantee it.
I do think there's some dissension between Belichick and Brady right now, but I think they're going to get that figured out.
All right, Tim.
Well, I hope Brandon's right, but yeah, this game Miami's been losing for 2 decades. They're not going to win this game.
All right. We got plenty of time. We're going to run a little over, Manny, so take your time. Cleveland at Oakland, 2.5 to Oakland. Raiders 0-3. Cleveland's 1-1-1. As Manny, before we started the show, he had a sentiment towards Baker Mayfield. What would you like to say to Baker Mayfield, Manny?
Well, I'm not going to talk to Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to Raider Nation.
All right.
Raider Nation, we need our team to earn their paycheck in the fourth quarter. Period. That's it. I'm out.
And he's going with the Raiders.
He's going with the Raiders.
Biggity-o.
He's dropping the mic.
This none of it was a tough week because of all the games we have, and there's some tough college games to look at. I'm up and down, flipping coins left and right. And this is really tough for me because I had to pick the Cowboys this week, which I never pick the Cowboys. I always go against them. It's just my thing. And the other team I always go against is the Raiders. They're my team to hate. So that's my other team to hate, but I got to pick them this week.
All right.
So I'm going with the Raiders.
Okay.
No logic.
I think I know where Brandon's going to go with this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Cleveland Browns have gotten new life, and I think the whole organization and its fans, if there are any out there, are excited about the energy that Mayfield brings to the game. So I'm gonna go. I mean, come on, it's Oakland. What has Oakland got? What has Cleveland got? I don't know. It's a coin flip.
It is. It is definitely a coin flip kind of game. Brandon likes the Browns. Tim.
That's a rematch of the NBA Finals the last few years. Without the drama.
It's all logic.
Not the interest story either.
And, the Dubs usually get the win. So, yeah, I mean, Oakland, they're 0-3. They have to win. So the same logic I used with Houston and Kansas City, I'm going to use it here. I'm going to go Gruden at home against the Browns.
Jake.
Baker hasn't started a game.
No.
He's barely played a half. I think they're riding a little high in Cleveland. I'd like to see a little bit more from him before I start handing him the keys, the franchise, and the championship.
I saw 2 years of him at OU.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pull out the Lombardi Trophy yet. So I think Gruden actually might get the win on this one. I'm a little concerned they might lose just because there's not enough tape on him in a pro level. But I think Gruden's going to finally put it together. I am picking. I want Bobby to acknowledge that I am taking Oakland this week.
I'm going to go Raiders. I think at home, first start for Baker Mayfield. I think it's going to be a close game, but the Raiders have been so close. I think they're the better team at the end of the day. Just, man, they got to finish. All right, y'all. That does it for the show today. I'll talk to you guys from Deming tonight, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. Y'all have a wonderful weekend.
Go Tigers.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7, Southern New Mexico's sports leader, KNMZ Alamogordo.
How exceptional Jared Goff was. I walked away thinking about how awful Minnesota's pass defense was. They are a shell of what we expected them to be.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, but as we've talked about, there's a few contextual throws, I'm going to coin that phrase right now, that may lead you to believe that even against a good defense, he would still be able to make those throws.
Okay.
Now, he got sacked, once last night, I
That's
believe,
right.
That's it.
Sent back taking pitches.
You know what teams are going to start doing? They're going to start saying, hey, look, if we sit back, they're just going to pick us apart. They got too many good people. We got to get to that quarterback. So teams are going to start taking their shots at Jared. There's no question. The holes are on defense. The holes are at the safety position on defense. The holes are that they don't have an outside edge rusher to go with Sue and Aaron. And if you can block them up, if you can just keep it firm in the middle and throw the ball in the middle of the field, you can move the ball and score points on this team. The problem is, can you score enough to match